So it has been exactly a week since the deadly shooting in Texas, where 19 children and 2 adults were murdered. We as a nation are still mourning and still trying to process how this has happened again in the United States. In the last 7 days, there have been over a dozen new mass shootings across the country. On Wednesday, May 25th, 4 people were shot in West Philadelphia while on their way to a prom party. On Friday, May 27th, 3 siblings and their mother were shot and killed in Michigan. On that same day, a shooting at the graduation party in Alabama left 6 people injured. And sadly, I could go on, and that's just in the last 7 days. Our country continues to have serious problem with guns and with gun violence. And it's up to us as elected officials and public officials, both in Washington, D.C. and Rhode Island, to do all we can to end it. As I said last week, it is time for the General Assembly to pass bills to limit high-capacity magazines and ban assault weapons. Send those bills to my desk for signature. I'm ready to sign them. At the same time, we know that no one thing alone is going to end gun violence. So an argument that just says, well, that's not going to solve the problem, of course it's not going to solve the problem. But it reduces the risk. It puts us in line with our bordering states, both Connecticut and Massachusetts. That's why we must continue to ensure that our schools are safeguarded against anyone who would bring a harm to our students, educators, and school staff. To that end, we are here to announce further collaboration between the state superintendents, the local law enforcement, to immediately identify potential school safety issues and address any necessary repairs and upgrades. So here's our plan. All districts will be conducting walkthroughs of their school buildings by June 10th. They will share their findings with RIDE and our School Safety Committee, led by the Rhode Island State Police. Schools where potential hazards are found are encouraged to work with their local law enforcement and their school safety teams to identify solutions and cost estimates. That's what I did as a mayor. Our local police are resources that we need to use and connect them in with our schools, as they already are. RIDE will then authorize up to $500,000 in emergency approval through the School Building Authority for each district to make additional security upgrades to their facilities as needed and reimburse, and they will be reimbursed for that work after it's complete. I want to thank the Commissioner, the Colonel, and their teams for working quickly through this critical program. Collaboration here is the key, and I want to thank everyone for stepping up and being here, such an important issue in a short period of time. We want to assure Rhode Island families, our students, our teachers, and school staff that we are serious about safety in our schools. And we will continue to be prepared to maintain that safety. And with that, I'll turn it over to our Lieutenant Governor for comments. Lieutenant Governor?
Thank you, Governor. Good afternoon. As many of you know, I'm a mother of 2 school-aged children. And like any other parent, I has been very angry with the news coming from Texas and other part of the country. I feel concerned and I feel worried that my son and my daughter may not be safe when they go to school. A school is a place in where they're supposed to be a sanctuary. They're supposed to go and learn. And they shouldn't be afraid of what is going to happen once they go there. There should be a place in which they're creating good memories with their friends. As parents, the last thing we should be worried about is the safety of our children when they are in school. Unfortunately, we live during a time when that feeling is way too real. A mass shooting, unfortunately, seems to happen every few weeks in our nation. It is our job as elected leaders local here at the state level and a federal level also, to do everything we can to prevent a tragedy like Uvalde, Texas, from ever happening in our communities. And that's why I want to thank Governor McKee. I want to thank the Commissioner Angelica Infante-Green and Colonel Weaver for being here today, being proactive in addressing those challenges so we can prevent a tragedy like Uvalde, Texas from ever happening in our community. We have to do everything we can to minimize the risk of something like that ever taking place in here. I would like to thank Governor McKee again, Commissioner Infante-Green and Colonel Weaver, because you're offering this program to our local school district. And I also want to thank our local school district leaders, the superintendent, the school board, the educators who are the front line of defense. Unfortunately, we're asking them to do more than what they signed up for. What they wanted to do was to educate our children, and right now we are in a situation where we're asking them to do more. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the Commissioner Angelica Infante-Green.
Thank you, Governor McKee, Lieutenant Governor Matos, Colonel Weaver, and all of the school professional associations joining us today. We're still grappling with the devastating events of last week and everything that's happened since, mourning the loss of what's happened in Texas. I think all of us in education were stunned, hurt, saddened, for the children, for the staff that show up every single day. It's a moment that we felt very deeply. Rhode Island has consistent and ongoing efforts to keep schools safe, but we need to continue to take action. Families deserve a peace of mind. Educators deserve a peace of mind. Governor, Colonel Weaver and I met the morning after the attack. We all knew that we needed to go further and utilize the State School Safety Committee, which actually met on that day. The committee includes representatives from the state and local police, superintendents, RIDE, BHDDH, and more. Each school has a school safety team that includes local police and fire working with school administrators. They use comprehensive hazard assessment to review schools. This is online, very comprehensive. There are about 100 different metrics that are reviewed. Checklists address detailed aspects of security in place like windows and doors, parking lots, driveways, visitor protocols, communications, technology, every aspect inside and outside the facility. Thank you for all of those that worked on this. Those reports are due every 3 years, but we're taking action and asking our districts to review the safety of all their schools as soon as possible. We're deeply thankful to our superintendents and the professional association who leapt into action. Districts have until Friday, June 10th, to complete their checklists. We will help in any way that we can, including offering emergency approvals of facility improvements. If necessary, RIDE in turn can authorize $500,000 in emergency approval through the School Building Authority to each LEA to make whatever additional security upgrades their facilities need and can be reimbursed after completing the work. That means doors, windows. These approvals are emergency repairs, and this past week has shown us that a broken window or doors can become an emergency hazard. This is all part of the Safety Committee's ongoing work, including school threat assessment teams. The threat assessment teams are a more recent addition focused on addressing potential hazards before they arise. They gather information, track rumors, talk to students who may be in crisis. They include counselors who are a vital part of securing our schools. Last week, we met with over 100+ school counselors from across the state, all whom are dedicated to preserving student mental health, behavior, and social-emotional health. We are grateful for all of them and all the educational professionals and communities that we're working to keep the schools safe. I also want to take this opportunity to thank the General Assembly for all the layered safety approach. Rhode Island takes school safety very seriously. And unfortunately, we're having this conversation because yet again, our schools are a place where we have to continue to build and continue to work together to ensure that every day, everyone that goes to our schools feels safe and secure. Thank you.
Colonel?
Thank you, Governor McKee, Lieutenant Governor Matos, and Commissioner Infante Green for including me today. As a member of law enforcement, I can tell you that nothing in our work is more important than the safety of our children. The Rhode Island State Police convenes the Rhode Island School Safety Committee, which meets monthly and brings together stakeholders across state and local government to ensure the safety of students and staff in all Rhode Island schools. We work collaboratively with our law enforcement partners in the cities and towns and encourage school officials to conduct active shooter training and preparedness. We advise schools to train evacuation procedures and have shelter-in-place plans. As we move to the next phase of this work, we look forward to the opportunity to provide our expertise and be helpful on these assessments. We're prepared to lend our time and experience so that every Rhode Island parent can know that their child is going to a school in a safe place. We all have a role in keeping our schools safe. We cannot say it enough to kids, teachers, and parents. If you see something, say something. We take every threat seriously, and we will be there when you call.